it's Laurie from Quick Scrap Craft. Welcome back to the channel. Today is my very first process video for the March challenge that I've set for myself, which is a monochromatic challenge. And that means that every process video from here on out this month is going to be me trying to use the color orange and use up all of the orange embellishments and papers and paper scraps and letters that I have in my stash. So wish me luck on this. You'll notice that obviously the pattern paper here, there's some orange in it, but there's also some other colors as well. I'm not going to be like very strict about everything has to be just orange and only orange. As long as there was some element of orange, or even some of the pieces that I picked up were like burnt orange. They could probably pass for brown, but I just thought that they would at least work. It's nice to have different shades of the color, especially when you're working with these bright orange pieces of cardstock in the background. I needed things that could help kind of tone that down a little bit. Why did I decide to do orange this month, a color that I actually absolutely despise, especially when it's super bright like it is on the cardstock? Because I had those pieces of cardstock and I was like, what am I going to do with these? I need to find a way to use them. So I decided to go through every single embellishment pack that I had, all of the paper scraps, all of the regular, full-size papers, everything. I went through everything and I pulled out pieces that, again, either were fully orange or had some orange in them, or I thought it could work. And you might see things that are even a little bit more on the yellow side, but we're just gonna let it slide. And so all of this is pulled out in hopes that I can use it all and really bash my stash and get some layouts done. I don't know that I'm going to be able to finish my August 2023 photos doing this challenge, because when you're working with scraps, which is basically what I have left, it's really hard to do 2-page layouts. This is going to be a 2-page layout, however, but a lot of the photos that I have left are, like a series of 6 or 7 photos. So it's really going to be hard to do a single page layout with all of that. I'll see what I can do. But starting off here with a 2-page layout, and these are actually photos from the Denver Zoo. I actually have 2 separate sets of zoo photos. I separated them into the pictures of the animals and the pictures with people in them. So this layout is the pictures of people, the pictures with people in them. So mainly my daughter. I have used some inspiration from Pinterest for this, although I didn't really follow it exactly. But essentially, there was a layout that I saw, and it had a background that was very similar to what I just put down. A large piece in the center and like some banner strips or border strips on the top and the bottom. And then the photos are 3 top and 3 on bottom. And obviously they're very small because you can't do 3 on top and 3 on bottom with 4x6 photos. So that was where the inspiration came from. The pattern papers with the animals and the, leaves and trees and stuff, that's from an Echo Park Zoo collection. And actually, it's not going to be the same pattern that's going to be on the second side. So I had 6 by 12 inches left of the one you see here on this page. And then I had 6 by 12 left of another one, which is still similar. It just doesn't have the animals. It has all the trees and the leaves, but not the animals. And I was like, does it really matter? So I'm going with that. The paper strips that I cut are all going to be the same and in the same placement. So this is basically, the background of this layout is going to be very samey. However, the placement of the photos is going to be just a little different. So the photos here were printed out in 4x6. I'm cutting them all down to 3x3. And luckily I had some cut aparts left over from this same zoo collection. So I'm able to use 2 of those on this side, cutting them down to 3x3, and they're going to be kind of serving as my title. I had originally pulled an old Simple Stories thing that said "Enjoy the Journey," and I thought that could be the title for this. But then when I realized I had these cut aparts, I was like, you know what? They have big word phrases on them. I think that's going to be quite enough for the title of this. So I'm doing 3 on top and 3 on the bottom, not lining them, or I'm not going to line them up specifically or in a straight line, I guess I should say. I don't know what I'm talking about. However, I will, you haven't seen me do it yet, but they are going to be like offset just a little bit. And then I have to figure out the placement of the embellishment. So I think the hardest part of this, was there a super hard part? The hardest part was actually probably just getting things to line up properly and make sure everything was straight. But I have a total of, let's see, I did 4 on this side, and I think I had 4 or 5 on the other side. So this is like 9 photos that I'm getting scrapbooked across this 2-page layout. I'm also using up some scrap paper. See, that's not totally orange, but to me that's like a burnt orange. I actually organized my paper scraps that were, the ones that were very solid colory. I organized those by color. So all I had to do was go to my orange bag and pull out all of those papers that I could potentially use on this layout. So I did use that burnt orange to back the 2 cut aparts, and I just added some inking on them to sort of help them stand out a little bit. And I'm just now realizing that I don't think I inked the other side of the page, but whatever. I'm not going to go back and lift everything up. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So I just need to get these pieces anchored down. So these 2 pieces are basically in a row, in a column, straight. And then the photos on either side, which I didn't ink the edges of, I think I meant to, that's okay, are going to be tilted. Now, if I'd had more of that burnt orange cardstock or another color cardstock that I could have used, I would have backed these photos with that as well. But I just didn't have enough of any one thing, and I didn't really want everything to be backed with something different. I thought that would be a little much. And I didn't want to back it with white because the patterns behind the photos have a lot of white in them, and they weren't going to stand out against all of that. So I just decided to not back them at all. But if I were to do this again and I had more papers, then I would definitely back everything with some cardstock. So I'm just putting down a few embellishments here, trying to create a few embellishment clusters using a bunch of random stuff from my stash. There's some American Crafts, there's some Simple Stories, there's some, well, I guess Pink Paisley is owned by American Crafts. And then American Crafts got bought by another company, which I think is strange because I've never heard of that other company. So for them to have the money to buy American Crafts, which to me is like the scrapbook monopoly, that doesn't make any sense. But okay, I mean, I'm glad that they're still going to be in business, I guess. So everybody go out and support American Craft so we can still have some good papers to work with. I don't know. I know Pink Fresh is still in business, and they're working with Vicky Booten and Paige Evans, right? So that should be interesting for this year. Anyway, now I'm on the second side. I didn't make you watch me glue everything down because it's the same thing. It's the same background. My photos and one of the cut aparts are in a different arrangement. I didn't have enough cut apart. I mean, I guess I could have done another cut apart on this side. I think I did have one, but I didn't really want to use it. It had, I think, like an elephant on it. I don't know. I could have done it, but I didn't. So no big deal. And also I didn't have enough to mat another cut apart. I didn't have enough of that burnt orange cardstock for 2 of them. So I just did 1 and then changed the arrangement of the photos. So the 4 photos are kind of going in an arc, kind of making a circle on this one, whereas the other page, it was just 2 lines. Now I'm doing more of a circular thing. And I've got embellishments up at the top. Again, just random stuff, random orange stuff from my stash. None of it is super specific to the zoo or animals, but whatever. And then behind, well, it looks like it's going behind the cut apart. It was a Amy Tangerine journaling spot. I just cut it in half and tucked each piece behind the cut apart. And that's where I'm going to end up doing my journaling. So I really like the way that looks. And that Amy Tangerine piece did have a tiger on it, I believe. I think that's what it is. It's not a lion, it's a tiger. So that to me really, I definitely needed to use this on a zoo layout because that's an animal. And it's probably an animal that we saw here at the zoo. I don't really remember. The only thing I remember is that there was a play area, sort of like a mini hiking area for kids. And then there was this play area where they could like dig and do stuff in the dirt. And I don't know if it was just because it was in the shade and it was such a hot day, or if she really enjoyed digging in the dirt, but that part was definitely my daughter's favorite. We had to drag her away from there and be like, there are animals here, like, let's go see them. So this is the 2-pager. I hope that this was inspiring for you, and that maybe you try your hand at a monochromatic challenge, whether you do orange or another color that you have a lot of in your stash. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to try this as well, and follow me on social media so that I can see all your cool scrappy work. Bye.